Good evening, and welcome to our Susan Hayward Film Festival. I wondered if we might have the house lights up just a little bit more, because I believe the gentleman in the back would appreciate that for videotaping purposes, and I think you'll still be able to see me all right. Thank you. Can everyone hear me all right? My name's Glenn Novak, and I'm the coordinator of this film festival. This is the first time that we've tried to do something like this. I want to welcome you to the festival, and as I look around, I see a lot of people whom I do not believe are connected with the college, and for many of you this might be your first opportunity to be in our new Performing Arts Center. And that's one of the reasons why we decided to have such an event, was to incorporate it into our year-long celebration or inauguration of this wonderful new facility. And we've had a musical here, Brigadoon, and we've had Metropolitan Opera star here, Brenda Boozer. We've had college concerts, we've had band concerts, and choral concerts, and all sorts of things here. We've had award ceremonies, but to my knowledge, this is the first time that we've ever had any kind of a showing of a movie. And for the next 3 evenings, we're going to be showing several different movies, films of Susan Hayward. As I said this morning on an interview show with Matt Cook up at WLBB, I said I don't think that the Lake Carroll Mall cinemas that really have anything to worry about. You're not going to be putting them out of business, I'm sure, because this was not designed as a movie house. But I want to express my appreciation to the administration in their willingness and their cooperation to allow us to outfit this facility with a very fine projection screen, a good audio system, and 2 brand new film projectors. So we hope that you'll enjoy the program tonight and tomorrow night and Saturday night. I do want to explain just a couple of things about how we will be operating each evening. We'll try to begin each evening as close as we can to 7 o'clock. People might be wondering why we start so early, and I think the answer will be obvious tonight around 11 o'clock, because we do have a very full evening. And as a result, I think I'll keep my remarks short and say really nothing about the career of Susan Hayward, her professional or her personal lives, because I'm not an expert really on either of those. But rather, I would like to simply introduce certain people who did have some close associations with Susan and or her husband Eaton Chalkley here when they were living in Carrollton. And I'm quite sure that there are many people out there in the audience this evening to whom an invitation to speak was not extended. And to you, I apologize, but I would very much welcome an opportunity to meet you, and I would like for you to try to meet some of our guests that we have visiting us here in Carrollton from other states. People who have come quite a ways in order to be with us. So what I'd like to do before we start our speakers this evening is to remind you that each evening we will be showing the short film Stars Over America, Susan Hayward's Georgia, which was made in around 1964 for the Department of Tourism. And you'll learn a little bit more about that film later. But we will show that film each evening very shortly after 7 o'clock, after we hear from 1 or 2 of our speakers. And following that, then we will break for refreshments. That film runs about 30-35 minutes. And after we have refreshments, then we will come back in here and have a very short introduction of the feature film. And tonight's feature film is I Climb the Highest Mountain, and tomorrow evening we will be showing I'll Cry Tomorrow, and on Saturday evening we'll be looking at I Want to Live. We do have programs or brochures like this. If you came in a little bit late and you would like one, please be sure and get one during the break, because I believe they were gone off of the tables when some of the people came in, and we do have plenty more available for you. Let's see. Let me just, I know it's going to be kind of a long evening, and I was going to keep my remarks short, but I do want to thank a few people for their help. Something like this does not come together very easily or very quickly. It really was about a year or more in planning. And the first person that I'd like to acknowledge is the individual who really had the idea of a film festival in the first place. That individual was not me, was Dr. Robert Claxton here at the college. He's with the Office of Budget and Research Services. And he sent me a memo over a year ago and said, we're having a new building. It's being constructed. It's going to be called the Performing Arts Center. Susan Hayward was certainly a performer and Carrollton resident. Why not have a film festival to honor her memory and show some of her most famous and best loved films? So Bob Claxton, he gets credit for that idea. And what he did was he kind of gave me the ball and asked me to run with it and see if I could kind of package something together and invite some people and see what kinds of films were available. She made many films. She made over 50 films, and not all of them are on 16 millimeters, so they're not all available for us to look at in a movie theater. Some are available on video cassette. I'd also like to thank certain college administrators who have been very helpful in allowing us to move forward with this program. I'd like to thank President Townsend for his assistance in allowing us to incorporate this into our year-long celebration. I'd like to thank Dr. Tracy Stallings, the Director of College Relations, and our Mayor, who gave us the go-ahead and allowed encouragement to go ahead and proceed with this event. I'd like to thank Dr. Richard Folk for his assistance with the budget and handling some of the finances here. And I'd like to thank the Public Relations Office and Frank Pritchett for his hard work in putting together this brochure and helping to get some publicity out. And I'd also like to thank people here at the Performing Arts Center, and in particular Nicola Jurachak, who's been tending to all sorts of details, trying to pull this thing together, make sure that that's going to work. I think they've looked at these films all week, and they know them as well as the directors, because they're trying to make sure that all the equipment is working all right for us. Just a few people now that I'd like to ask if you would stand when I call your name. The only reason I'm doing this is so that our local Carrollton and Carroll County folks can see who you are. Many of them knew the Chalkleys. They don't know you, and you're interested in hearing stories and anecdotes about what things were like here in the 50s. So if you could stand, and we might bring the house lights up a little bit more, and you don't have to say anything or really do anything, but stand for a few seconds. They'll have an idea of what you look like, so during the refreshment break, they can sort of punch you in the arm and at least make an attempt to contact you later. Is Ed Charles out there? Ed, thank you. Can everyone see Ed Charles back here on the aisle? I want to thank Ed. Ed's a Carrollton resident, and he's been working very, very hard. He's the Carrollton coordinator, the community coordinator of this event. And he's responsible in large part for the full-page ad that many of you may have seen in the local paper, the Times-Georgian, which is the kind of publicity that we certainly like to have. He's also responsible for lining up the refreshments, which have been donated and provided to us by the Carrollton Civic Women's Club, and we thank him and we thank that organization. And also I want to add that he coordinated for floral arrangements with Anderson Florist. And the next individual I would like to acknowledge and welcome, and that is Diane Thomas. Diane Thomas is here visiting. She's here with her mother, and they're from Decatur, Illinois, and they drove down a few days ago. And Diane is the president of the Susan Hayward Collectors Club, and I'm sure she would love to get to know many of you and interview you and listen to some of the stories that you may have. And since none of us are wearing name tags, that's one of the reasons I'm trying to point out some of these people to you. If you have anything interesting you'd like to share in the way of reminiscences, since it's really not open mic night here, you may try to find some of these people. Another individual visiting us here this evening, and for the next couple of evenings, is Eduardo Moreno. Eduardo Moreno is this gentleman right here toward the front of our auditorium. And Mr. Moreno is an author. He's from New York City, and he has written the book, The Films of Susan Hayward, which was published in 1979. And we're very happy to have him with us. A copy of this book is out here on our display table, where we have many other photographs and artifacts and pieces of memorabilia for you to look at before, during, and after each of our 3 evenings. This gentleman seated right here is Mr. Hiram Gray, who many of you know, I'm sure. And he spent many years as the editor of the Greenman paper, recently retired. And he will be speaking this evening a little bit about Susan Hayward and some of the events and things that went on, covering it from a journalist's standpoint and also as a friend. We're also very happy and very fortunate, I think, this evening to have a couple of additional people added to our program. I think that you'll enjoy hearing from them, and they may have been out in our lobby studying memorabilia, but I hope that they are in the house right now, because I'm going to be calling on them soon to come up here and say a few words about their reminiscences of Eden Chalkley and Susan Hayward. And those individuals are Jim Warren and Ann Warren Ely. And Jim is from Atlanta, and his sister Ann is from South Carolina. And they are the son and daughter of Bill Warren, who many of you, I assume, might know, might remember. I talked to Bill on the phone the other day, and he's up in Toccoa now. And he's hoping that he'll be able to be with us perhaps tomorrow evening to say a few words about Susan Hayward's contributions and her interest in the hospital, Container Hospital. Jim and Ann, if you would care to make your way toward the stage here, then that's why we have these chairs here for you.